A Raven in Time, Part 4, Fireworks and Folly. The temporal landing deposited Corvus directly into controlled chaos, mixed with sulfur, smoke, and the unmistakable aroma of things that were supposed to be fireproof, catching fire anyway. He tumbled through acrid air and landed with an undignified thump on a bamboo platform covered in singed silk.
Wonderful. From Renaissance flour too, is that gunpowder?
Rapid Chinese, punctuated by small explosions, confirm his suspicion.
No, no, no. The rocket angle must be precisely calibrated. Chen, adjust the trajectory. We need more lift, less horizontal velocity, and someone check the silk restraints. I can smell burning.
Corvus hopped onto a wooden observation platform, a Song Dynasty experimental courtyard that looked like someone had combined a fireworks factory with a launching platform, and asked what could possibly go wrong.
Oh, good. Explosives and optimism, my two favorite things to witness from a safe distance.
The courtyard was dominated by a launching apparatus that made Roman catapults look like they'd been designed by safety inspectors. A wooden platform held a chair occupied by a volunteer who appeared to be mentally composing his last will and testament, surrounded by bamboo tubes clearly designed to contain controlled explosions. Above the chair, an enormous paper and silk balloon was being inflated by hot air from a carefully controlled fire. A silk moth emerged from behind a stack of experimental fabric, watching with professional horror.
Here we go again. 17 cocoons worth of silk already burned this month. 17, and for what? So humans can blow themselves into the sky like very loud, very inefficient birds.
Let me guess. He hasn't asked for your expert opinion on flammability?
Humans never ask. They just light things on fire and act surprised when silk behaves exactly as we could have told them it would behave.
A monkey swung down from the ornamental trees.
You must be new here. You have that, I've seen this disaster before in different historical contexts. Look about you.
That obvious?
Dead giveaway. Also, you're the only raven in this courtyard who isn't running away from the explosions.
If you're looking for intelligence, you've come to the wrong species gathering. Present company excluded, of course.
A crane observed from the courtyard's highest beam.
These humans are so focused on explosions and hot air, they've completely ignored basic aerodynamic principles. It's like watching someone try to swim by setting the water on fire.
And yet you're all still watching.
The entertainment value is unmatched. Last week he launched Liu so far into the river that fish are now worried about human precipitation.
Liu? That's not the same volunteer in the chair currently having an existential crisis?
Oh no, that's Chen. Liu is scheduled for the afternoon demonstration. Wang has a whole roster of volunteers who haven't learned from other people's mistakes.
At the center of the organized chaos, Master Wang was conducting final checks with the confidence of someone who had personally solved the mystery of human flight through strategic application of gunpowder.
Citizens of the Song Dynasty, today we shall demonstrate that human flight is achievable through the harmonious combination of fire, air, and careful calculation.
There's that word again, harmonious. In my experience, nothing involving both fire and humans is ever harmonious.
You've been time traveling too long. You've developed proper cynicism.
It's not cynicism, it's pattern recognition.
Chen here will be the first human to achieve controlled powered flight. Through the power of fire arrows and heated air, we shall soar as the dragons soar.
Dragons don't actually.
Just don't. Let them have their dragon metaphors, it's all they have.
Master Wang began lighting fuses. The timing, he insisted, was crucial. Each rocket needed to fire in sequence.
I'm assuming crucial is doing a lot of optimistic heavy lifting in that sentence.
You have no idea.
The first rocket ignited with a sharp crack. Chen shot upward about 3 feet before gravity remembered it had opinions on the matter. But before he could fall back, the second rocket fired, launching him at a slight angle to the left.
It's working. Perfect sequential thrust.
Define perfect.
Then the third rocket fired early.
There's the definition.
What followed was ballistic confusion. Chen ricocheted around the courtyard like a human pinball, propelled by rockets firing in no particular sequence while trailing smoke and sparks. The silk balloon above him caught fire and burned with silk's peculiar self-extinguishing property, bursting into flames, going out, catching fire again.
Harmonious flight. Very harmonious.
I'm starting to think harmonious means something different in Chinese.
No, that's just Master Wang's interpretation. He's very optimistic about failure patterns.
The rockets were now firing randomly, sending Chen on a three-dimensional tour that included the ornamental garden, the preparation area, and Master Wang's personal tea service.
Better than last week. Last week he took out 3 roosting birds and an ornamental dragon statue.
Were the birds okay?
Offended, mostly. Humans screaming while on fire isn't natural behavior, and it startled them during breakfast.
Chen's aerial tour reached its climax when the final rockets fired simultaneously, launching him over the courtyard wall. The splash was tremendous.
Magnificent. He's achieving distance. Note how the final thrust optimized trajectory.
I think optimized trajectory is another way of saying we have no idea where he's going.
Master Wang, should someone check if Chen can swim?
Swimming is irrelevant. We're testing flight, not aquatic capabilities.
From beyond the wall came Chen's voice.
The carp are very confused. Also, I think I may have discovered a new form of aquatic propulsion.
Ah yes, falling with style and witnesses. Very scientific.
But Master Wang was already moving toward his next demonstration.
Assistants, prepare the kite apparatus. We shall prove that controlled flight can be achieved through wind harmony.
Wind harmony. Is that what we're calling large fabric dragging people around courtyards now?
Workers began unrolling what appeared to be the largest kite Corvus had ever seen. 20 feet across, intricate silk and bamboo patterns, with a harness system that looked like someone had asked how much silk can one human support and taken it as a challenge.
Oh no, not the giant kite. That's 3 months of my family's work right there, about to be subjected to Master Wang's interpretation of controlled testing.
How much of that kite usually survives his experiments?
Define survives.
A new volunteer, Zhang, was being fitted into the harness. He looked marginally more optimistic than Chen, possibly because this apparatus didn't involve explosives.
Give it time.
What?
Nothing. Time traveler's intuition.
Master Wang, how exactly does one control a kite of this size?
Through harmony with the wind, my dear Zhang. You must become one with the air currents, read the sky like a scholar reads poetry.
Has anyone told him that wind doesn't actually care about poetry?
Many times, he interprets our concerns as lack of vision.
But what if the wind stops?
Impossible. Wind is eternal, like the Tao itself.
As if summoned by this declaration, the afternoon breeze died completely. The enormous kite went limp.
Eternal, right.
Ah, this is precisely why I have developed the hybrid approach.
From another part of the courtyard, assistants wheeled out a kite with rockets attached to it.
There it is. I knew explosives would make an appearance. They always do with humans.
Called it. You do have time traveler's intuition.
Behold, when wind fails, fire succeeds. When natural forces are insufficient, human ingenuity provides the solution.
He's taken 2 functional concepts and combined them into one magnificent disaster. From an engineering standpoint, this is fascinating in the way that watching a cart roll downhill toward a marketplace is fascinating.
So we're all just going to watch this happen?
Would you prefer to be elsewhere?
Absolutely not. This is premium disaster entertainment.
Zhang was now strapped into a harness connected to both the giant silk kite and the rocket-powered backup kite.
Master, exactly how does one transition from kite flight to rocket flight?
Seamlessly. The transition will be as smooth as a dragon's flight through clouds.
Dragons aren't actually.
Do not start with the dragons. Again.
Do you two always argue about dragon aerodynamics?
Only when humans invoke them as flight role models. Dragons are mythological. Their flight characteristics are narratively convenient, not physically possible.
Nobody cares. Let people have their metaphors.
I feel like I've stumbled into a very specific, ongoing argument.
You have. It's been 3 months. Ever since Master Wang declared he would fly as the dragons fly, the crane has been impossible at dinner.
The afternoon breeze returned with considerable force. The giant kite immediately snapped taut and began pulling Zhang across the courtyard with the enthusiasm of fabric that had been waiting for this moment.
Excellent. Perfect wind harmony. Now demonstrate directional control.
How?
I'm starting to notice a pattern where Master Wang issues instructions that assume knowledge that volunteers demonstrably lack.
Read, the wind like poetry.
See? That's not actually helpful advice.
Zhang ricocheted off the courtyard wall and was immediately pulled in a different direction as the wind shifted.
5 silver pieces says he ends up in the flower garden.
I'm not taking that bet. I've seen enough flight attempts to know where this is going.
Perhaps now would be a good time for rocket assistance.
How do I light rockets while being dragged by a kite?
Also a valid question that probably should have been addressed during the planning phase.
Harmonious multitasking.
That's not an answer. That's word arrangement suggesting an answer might exist somewhere.
Zhang managed to grab one of the rocket fuses while being dragged past the preparation area. The rocket kite ignited with a sharp crack. What followed was aerial chaos management. Zhang was being pulled by wind, pushed by rockets, and generally subjected to forces that had never met each other and weren't interested in cooperation.
Wait, look at the burn patterns on the kite silk.
What about them?
It's catching fire in strips rather than all at once, creating controlled burn areas that are actually affecting lift distribution. It's like accidental aeronautical engineering.
So he's accidentally stumbled into functional design through catastrophic testing?
That's actually a fair summary of Master Wang's entire research methodology.
I hate to admit it, but the moth is right. Zhan is no longer being dragged in completely random directions. There's almost semi-controlled steering happening.
Almost semi-controlled. The standards for success are remarkably low here.
And yet he's still doing better than Chen did with just the rockets.
It's working, sort of.
Zhang managed to avoid the fish pond and crash-landed in the Imperial Flower Garden. The crowd erupted in cheers.
They're celebrating a crash landing. I love human optimism. It's adorable and slightly concerning.
Citizens, you have witnessed the successful integration of wind power and fire power. Human flight is no longer a dream. It is an engineering problem with multiple solutions.
Master, Zhang appears to be tangled in the kite strings and several rockets are still smoking.
Details. The important thing is we achieved mostly controlled descent. The principles are sound.
Mostly controlled descent is my new favorite euphemism for crashed, but survived.
From the flower garden came Zhang's voice.
Actually, I think I'm getting the hang of it. The rocket timing needs work, but the directional control was starting to make sense.
See? He's already volunteering for round 2. Humans are wonderfully resilient about repeated failure.
Now, who volunteers for the advanced demonstration?
A nervous silence fell over the assembled assistants.
Advanced demonstration. Those are concerning words when the basic demonstration involved fire, crashing, and what I can only describe as interpretive physics.
Now that we have proven both methods work independently, the logical next step is to combine them properly. A rocket-powered human wearing kite wings for maximum control.
He's going to attach rockets directly to a person wearing kite wings. My cousins died for this.
How many cousins have you lost to Master Wang's research?
I've stopped counting. It's too depressing. Every week I have to attend another Silk Memorial service.
This one might actually work though, or create the most spectacular failure yet. Either way, I'm invested in the outcome.
From a theoretical standpoint, rocket thrust combined with fabric wing control could provide both power and steering. The fire risk is considerable, but...
There's always a but right before someone sets themselves on fire.
Master Wang was sketching his next design with fevered intensity.
While he's distracted, I should probably gather my temporal components. This seems like an excellent time for a small raven to go unnoticed.
Getting your time travel supplies?
Need 3 specific items. Something that's absorbed time, something that defies time, and something that marks temporal passage.
You're in the right place. Wang's been experimenting for months. There's time-soaked materials everywhere. What do you need first?
Something that's absorbed significant time and energy.
Rocket preparation area. Those bamboo tubes have been used and reused so many times they've got scorch marks on top of scorch marks. If anything's absorbed temporal energy, it's those.
Corvus glided down toward the preparation area. Pieces of charred bamboo littered the ground, worn smooth by repeated exposure to controlled explosions. He selected a fragment that practically hummed with absorbed explosive history.
This one seemed more fire than a dragon's breakfast.
Hey, that's my line.
Sorry. Time traveler's privilege. I'm ahead of the conversation.
For something that defies time, try the silk samples around the kite area. My family's work has been subjected to so much fire that it's developed this peculiar combustion pattern. Catches fire, goes out, catches fire again. It refuses to follow normal burning rules.
Silk, that's stubborn about physics. Perfect.
He moved toward the scattered silk samples, selecting a piece that showed the peculiar burn patterns of material that had survived multiple ignition cycles.
My cousin's sacrifice. Try not to set that one on fire.
No promises. Time travel has unpredictable fire safety requirements.
For temporal passage marking, try the ceramic pile. Those pottery fragments show repeated attempts at fireproof engineering, heat damage rings that mark experimental time.
You're all surprisingly helpful for animals who spend most of their time arguing about dragon aerodynamics.
We contain multitudes. Also, we're bored. Master Wang's experiments happen weekly. We've developed coping mechanisms, including helping time-traveling ravens.
Corvus darted toward the ceramic pile, selecting a fragment with particularly clear concentric rings of heat damage. Just as he secured the final component, trumpets sounded.
Citizens of the Song Dynasty, behold the culmination of human flight research, the rocket-winged sky warrior.
Rocket-winged sky warrior. That's either the best or worst name I've heard for a volunteer strapped to explosives.
Poor Lu was being strapped into what could only be described as the most dangerous costume in Chinese history. Rockets attached directly to his back and shoulders. Silk wing extensions stretched nearly 10 feet from tip to tip. Additional smaller rockets mounted on the wingtips.
Liu, you're up. How are you feeling about becoming a human firework?
Honestly, I've made worse decisions, though I'm having trouble remembering which ones.
I like Lou. He's got the right attitude about catastrophic flight testing.
He's actually combining rocket propulsion with wing-based steering. From a theoretical standpoint, it could work.
Or create the most spectacular human firework in history.
Why not both?
The beauty of this design is perfect integration. Rockets provide vertical thrust, wing rockets provide lateral control, and human intelligence navigates the harmony between fire and air.
That's a lot of faith in human intelligence for a system that involves setting someone on fire deliberately.
Master Wang? Exactly. How does one steer with rocket-powered wings?
Instinctively, trust your harmony with the elements.
Instinctively. Right. Because rocket-powered wing steering is definitely an instinctive human ability that evolution prepared us for.
The dragons will not, in fact, guide him. Dragons are mythological and...
Crane, so help me. Now is not the time.
Wang began the final countdown, lighting fuses in careful sequence.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, harmonious ascension.
Here we go. Everyone remember where Lou started, so we can calculate the crash distance later.
The main rockets ignited with a roar that shook the courtyard. Lu shot into the air like a human meteor, trailing smoke and fire. For one magnificent moment, it actually looked like it might work. Lu soared over the courtyard with impressive altitude, wings spread wide, rockets providing genuine thrust.
It's working. I can feel the harmony.
And there's the jinx. Nobody ever says it's working without immediately being proven wrong.
Lu's left wing caught fire.
Called it.
Not the controlled, self-extinguishing burn that silk was supposed to do. Actual, sustained combustion. Direct contact with rocket exhaust had exceeded silk's fire-resistant properties.
Slight technical difficulty.
Slight technical difficulty is an interesting way of describing currently on fire while airborne.
His left wing burned while his right wing functioned normally, creating asymmetrical thrust that sent him into a spiraling flight pattern.
Maintain harmony.
How does one maintain harmony while spinning through the air on fire? Is there a manual for that?
Lu's creating new flight data. Look at that spiral pattern.
He's achieving sustained flight through uncontrolled combustion. It's like accidental powered flight. Terrible methodology, but the results are fascinating.
You're all remarkably calm about watching someone become a human firework.
This is mild compared to last month's test. Last month, someone cleared 3 buildings and landed in the mayor's garden during dinner.
Citizens, I've discovered something important about asymmetrical thrust.
What's that?
It makes you dizzy.
Valuable research. Science thanks you, Lu.
The remaining rockets fired in increasingly random patterns, creating a flight path that resembled a very confused firefly having an existential crisis.
Landing approach. Location uncertain.
At least he's honest about the uncertainty. That's professional communication right there.
Lu's final descent took him over the courtyard wall, past the fish pond, and into what sounded like the Imperial Laundry.
The Imperial Laundry? That's new. He's expanding the crash radius.
Is there a running list of crash sites? Because there should be.
We maintain comprehensive records. The fish pond has been hit 7 times, the flower garden 12 times, and this is the first laundry incident.
You're keeping statistics on this.
How else would we measure progress?
The crowd erupted in the loudest cheers yet.
Magnificent. Perfect demonstration of rocket-powered human flight. Liu has proven that harmony between fire and fabric is achievable.
He's proven that you can survive being set on fire and thrown at the laundry. I'm not sure that's the same as harmony.
From the direction of the Imperial Laundry came Lu's voice.
Actually worked better than I expected. Though next time, perhaps fireproof wing material?
Lu's already planning next time. I love human optimism. It defies all logic and probability.
While Wang began sketching Rocket Wing Sky Warrior version 2.0, Corvus quickly arranged his temporal components on the courtyard's highest beam: time-charred bamboo, flame-defying silk, and heat-marked ceramic in a triangle.
The solution is obvious. We need fireproof silk, or metal wings, or wings made of fireproof metal silk.
Metal wings. Because if there's one thing that improves on currently on fire, it's currently on fire with added weight.
You're doing your time travel ritual?
Left hop, right hop, wings up, wings down.
Corvus muttered, beginning his dance while Song Dynasty Engineering prepared to revolutionize metallurgical wing design. The components began to resonate immediately. The bamboo fragment crackled with absorbed explosive energy. The silk sample shimmered with its defiant combustion properties, and the ceramic shard pulsed with rhythmic heat patterns.
Good luck with the next era. Try not to get launched anywhere.
No promises. Head bob twice, tail flick, and...
Corvus struck the bamboo fragment 3 times. Reality became negotiable, just as Master Wang declared his next breakthrough.
Next time, we shall achieve perfect harmony between fire, metal, and human ingenuity.
Tell the next era that adding more fire isn't always the solution.
And tell them to respect silk. Some of us died for this research.
That was actually pretty impressive. For a disaster.
For a disaster? That was the most organized chaos I've seen. These humans have turned catastrophic failure into scientific method.
As he tumbled through time, carried by Song Dynasty fire magic and accumulated explosive energy mixed with textile engineering, Corvus reflected on what he'd witnessed. They'd actually managed sustained powered flight. True, it had involved setting Lu on fire and crash landing him in the Imperial Laundry, but Lu had soared. For several magnificent, terrifying moments, a human had conquered the sky through sheer stubborn persistence and controlled explosions.
It's like they discovered cooking by burning down the kitchen, serving the charcoal remains, and having everyone declare it delicious because, technically, nobody died.
The components dissolved into pure, chronological energy, bamboo releasing its explosive history, silk scattering its combustion defiance across centuries, ceramic fragments marking time with heat patterns that spoke of repeated, increasingly successful failure.
I've learned something important today. When humans say harmonious, they mean survived. When they say controlled, they mean sort of aimed in a general direction. And when they say perfect integration, they mean it exploded, but in the way we expected.
Somewhere ahead, another era waited with its own unique approach to conquering the sky.
At least Lu proved that sustained powered flight is possible, even if the landing technique involves fire, panic, and apologizing to laundry staff.
The sounds of metallurgical wing design faded into temporal distance.
Next time, I'm timing my arrival for after the explosions, or at least after they've figured out that metal wings and fire don't solve the problems they think they solve.
But deep down, Corvus knew he'd arrive exactly when he was needed, right in the middle of the next beautiful, catastrophic disaster.
Because where else would a time-traveling raven belong?
This has been A Raven in Time, written by Philip Gray, digital narration by Chatterbox TTS, published by Pleased Reader. An imprint of Ozledge, copyright 2026 by Philip Gray, production copyright 2026 by Ozledge, all rights reserved.